Well, just let's go back to Tel Aviv, those live pictures there, because there have been ongoing interceptions by the Israeli Iron Dome system, intercepting a fresh round of airstrikes from Iran, both drones and missiles being intercepted. You're seeing footage captured earlier of a missile being intercepted by the Iron Dome system. We've seen other footage sent to us, verified here at GBNews, of more interceptors being fired into the sky above Tel Aviv, where the sirens have been sounding for the last hour, and also into the northern port city of Haifa. Further interceptions have been reported, and people are sheltering in the city after a relatively quiet few hours for the last 36 hours since this conflict started. Now, the IDF said that they had identified missiles being launched from Iran, and this all comes amid recent reports of strikes in Erbil in Iraq, in Kurdistan, in northern Iraq. And footage we're showing you now is what's been sent to us of a reported ammunition depot on a US base in Erbil hit by a strike. We don't know who fired it. We don't know if it was possibly, well, I think it's likely one of the Iran-linked militias in Iraq. Could be Kataib Hezbollah. Now, this base has come under regular fire in recent years, ever since Qasem Soleimani was assassinated in a drone strike by the US President Donald Trump in 2020. This base has been a key target for retaliatory strikes by Iran and its proxies in the region. It was also coming under heavy fire after the October 7th attacks. Now, the significance of this more generally for the United Kingdom is that today RAF jets were deployed to intercept drones, shooting down a drone heading towards Qatar. We understand that British personnel in Iraq were hundreds of meters away from Iranian attacks that struck the ground there, successfully impacting. And they were also hundreds of meters away from the impact in Bahrain at that joint naval facility in Bahrain. So widespread risk to the forward deployed British personnel. And this comes as Israel is under fresh attack.
I'll ask you a question. As you say there, British personnel are under attack, have nearly killed. We have British personnel engaging with the Iranian artillery. Are we at war with Iran?
Well, we're certainly in a defensive posture, and that's the way it would be seen. I mean, in terms of declaring war, that would be another step taken by the Prime Minister. We're certainly now involved in the war insofar as our assets are fighting against things being fired by the Iranian military. And while that is the overt and visible asset that we're seeing, there is no doubt that there is a widespread, broader British involvement in terms of intelligence collection and possibly also targeting support to other assets in the area. It's interesting to note, isn't it, that the evacuation of our embassy in Iran came just under 24 hours before these strikes started. So clearly a very high level of British understanding and also this defensive posture in the area as well.
All right, well, thank you very much, Charlie. We have some breaking news before we get to a very fascinating interview. We have Charlie Peters with something that will impact all of us. Charlie, tell us.
Yes, Josh, we've got an update here because leaders of Germany, Britain and France have issued a joint statement tonight condemning the indiscriminate and disproportionate missile attacks launched by Iran against countries in the region. The statement goes on to call on Iran to stop those attacks. Leaders also said they would take steps to defend their interests, noting that they were considering necessary and proportionate defensive action to destroy Iran's capability to fire missiles and drones at their source. Now, that's the second statement, joint statement by these three leaders in as many days. But Josh, the significance of this, we have the leaders of Germany, Britain and France suggesting now in a joint statement that they could strike Iranian military assets at their source to prevent the need to continue to intercept them in the air. We have seen the RAF deployed in Qatar, flying out of the Al Udeid base, an American air base, and also assets out of RAF Akrotirian, the sovereign base area in Cyprus, intervening to shoot down drones and cruise missiles. They're unable to shoot down the fast-moving ballistic missiles. So this is the leaders of France, Britain and Germany, Josh, hinting at being able and considering to deploy military force against Iranian assets within the country. That would be a significant military step from those countries to take. It's worth noting that French assets came under attack earlier today. There are reports now that the French is moving an aircraft carrier towards the region. It's likely now to be part of that gesture that we've just heard from that statement. And Germany has been stern in its support for Israel and the United States since the start of this military operation yesterday, and is currently housing some Israeli planes that left the country yesterday. But those three countries, Germany, Britain and France, condemning the Iranian attacks, but also saying that they are considering necessary and proportionate defensive action to destroy Iran's capability to fire missiles and drones at their source.
Okay, well, after 48 hours, I'm so glad that our British government is considering that.
We'll throw to this video immediately, please.
Yesterday, I spoke to you about the situation in the Gulf and explained that the United Kingdom was not involved in the strikes on Iran. That remains the case. Over the last 2 days, Iran has launched sustained attacks across the region at countries who did not attack them. They've hit airports and hotels where British citizens are staying. This is clearly a dangerous situation. We have at least 200,000 British citizens in the region, residents, families on holiday, and those in transit. I ask all our people in the region to please register your presence and follow Foreign Office travel advice. I know this is a deeply worrying time, and we will continue to do all we can to support you. Our armed forces, who are located across the region, are also being put at risk by Iran's actions. Yesterday, Iran hit a military base in Bahrain, narrowly missing British personnel. The death of the supreme leader will not stop Iran from launching these strikes. Their approach is becoming even more reckless and more dangerous to civilians. Our decision that the UK would not be involved with the strikes on Iran was deliberate, not least because we believe that the best way forward for the region and for the world is a negotiated settlement, one in which Iran agrees to give up any aspirations to develop a nuclear weapon. But Iran is striking British interests nonetheless, and putting British people at huge risk, along with our allies across the region. That is the situation we face today. Our partners in the Gulf have asked us to do more to defend them, and it is my duty to protect British lives. We have British jets in the air as part of coordinated defensive operations, which have already successfully intercepted Iranian strikes. But the only way to stop the threat is to destroy the missiles at source, in their storage depots, or the launchers which are used to fire the missiles. The United States has requested permission to use British bases for that specific and limited defensive purpose. We have taken the decision to accept this request, to prevent Iran firing missiles across the region killing innocent civilians, putting British lives at risk, and hitting countries that have not been involved. The basis of our decision is the collective self-defence of long-standing friends and allies and protecting British lives. That is in accordance with international law, and we are publishing a summary of our legal advice. We are not joining these strikes, but we will continue with our defensive actions in the region. And we will also bring experts from Ukraine together with our own experts to help Gulf partners shoot down Iranian drones attacking them. I want to be very clear. We all remember the mistakes of Iraq, and we have learned those lessons. We were not involved in the initial strikes on Iran, and we will not join offensive action now. But Iran is pursuing a scorched earth strategy, so we are supporting the collective self-defense of our allies and our people in the region, because that is our duty to the British people. It is the best way to eliminate the urgent threat and prevent the situation spiralling further. This is the British government protecting British interests and British lives.